Question 1. To what extent does the phase-to-phase distance influence the severity of an arc flash during fault conditions in a high-voltage HVACR switchgear panel? A technician opens a 400-ATIV HVACR switchgear cabinet for inspection. The internal bus bars are spaced tightly to accommodate limited enclosure space. While reviewing the configuration, the technician inadvertently drops a conductive tool between two phases. The resulting arc flash is severe, even though the available fault current is within normal range. What is the most critical factor that increased the arc flash severity in this case? A. The confined space reduced escape paths for pressure. B. The technician did not perform lockout-out. C. The minimal phase-to-phase distance escalated arc propagation. D. The available fault current exceeded the panel's rating. Answer. Correct answer. C. The minimal phase-to-phase distance escalated arc propagation. Explanation. Arc flash severity is influenced by phase spacing. A shorter distance allows ionized air to bridge more easily, sustaining and intensifying the arc. NFPA 7i 2024 and E1584 highlight that phase gap, enclosure size, and conductor configuration directly affect incident energy. Options A and B may be contributing factors but are not the core physical cause here. Option D is incorrect as the current was normal. Question 2. When evaluating the merits of AFST PPE selection, what factor primarily dictates the app of a rating required for an HVACR technician servicing a live unit? A technician named Isrivas is troubleshooting a live HVAC rooftop unit during emergency operations. The calculated incident energy is 6.8 calcum. She selects an ARC-rated shirt and pants with combined AP of 8 calcum. What is the justification for her PPE selection? A. APOV must equal or exceed incident energy to prevent second-degree burns. B. APOV can be lower if work is less than 5 minutes. C. PPE is only required above 10 calca. E. PPE ratings are irrelevant when using rubber gloves. Answer. Correct answer A. APOV must equal or exceed incident energy to prevent second-degree burns. Explanation. According to NFPA 7i Table 130.7 C16 APOV arc thermal performance value must be equal to or greater than the calculated incident energy at the working distance. This ensures adequate thermal protection to prevent second-degree burns. Option B is incorrect. Duration doesn't change PPE requirements. Option C misstates threshold levels, and D confuses shock protection with arc protection. Question 3. In light of recent developments, why is verifying zero energy state critical even after applying lockout-out procedures on HVACR electrical systems? Technician Mr. Abdullah locked out a 280 HVAC control panel and tagged it before performing maintenance. However, he did not verify the absence of voltage. Upon touching the terminal, he was shocked due to a back circuit from a control transformer. What is the root cause of this failure? A. The lockout device was not applied to the correct breaker. B. The technician did not test for voltage after load. C. The transformer was not grounded. D. A lockout tag had the wrong date. Answer. Correct answer. B. The technician did not test for voltage after load. Explanation. OSHA 1910.333 B Roman V and NFPA 7i Section 120.5 mandate testing for absence of voltage after LOTO application. Even properly locked devices can harbor residual or backed voltage. Not testing before contact is a critical error. Option A may be relevant but not proven here. Option C relates to safety but not the root issue. Option D is administrative and not causal. Question 4. Through careful analysis of HVACR fault scenarios, how can a technician ensure they remain outside the arc flash boundary during energized diagnostics? A. Wear rubber insulating gloves rated for the voltage. B. Stand at the restricted approach boundary at all times. C. Use remote racking or infrared tools to operate from a distance. D. Apply grounding clamps to discharge capacitors before work. Answer. Correct answer. C. Use remote racking or infrared tools to operate from a distance. Explanation. Staying outside the arc flash boundary means using methods that prevent exposure to incident energy levels equals 1.2 calcum. Remote tools and air thermography keep the worker outside this zone. NFPA 7-TI Article 130.5G supports engineering administrative controls over relying solely on PPE options, and B relate to shock, not thermal protection. Option D is good practice but not boundary control. Question 5. Despite the fact that most HVACR technicians are trained in general electrical safety, what unique hazard does working on variable frequency drives (VFDs) pose related to arc flash? During maintenance on a roof, to VFD cabinet is to lane energizes the main disconnect and locks it out. However, when he touches a power terminal inside the drive, he experiences a mild shock and a visible arc. Why did this occur even though power was removed? A. VFD capacitors retain charge long after power is removed. B. A loose neutral caused floating voltage. C. The VFD was grounded improperly. D. The input disconnect was mislabeled. Answer. Correct answer A. VFD capacitors retain charge long after power is removed. Explanation: VFDs store energy in large DC bus capacitors, which can hold dangerous voltage for several minutes after power is disconnected. NFPA 7-TI 120.5.7 requires weighting and testing capacitor discharge. Option B might cause voltage but not arc. Option C is not the primary issue. Option D is a labeling error but doesn't explain the retained energy. Question 6. What factors contribute to the formation and sustainment of an arc flash in a three-phase HVACR distribution panel when a tool bridges conductors? A. Circuit impedance limits current enough to suppress the arc. B. Arc flash only occurs above 600 volts. C. Ionized air becomes a conductor sustaining the arc. D. The arc only occurs with transformer overloading. Answer. Correct answer. C. Ionized air becomes a conductor sustaining the arc. Explanation: arc flash involves ionization of air into plasma, which conducts electricity and sustains the arc. The current doesn't need to be high voltage. NFPA 7-TI recognizes dangerous arcs at 280 V or lower, and D are incorrect. Impedance and loading can influence but not eliminate arcs. B is myth. Low voltages can still be deadly in confined systems. Question 7. From a practical standpoint, what should technician Is Delgado do upon discovering heat discoloration on busbar insulation during a preventive maintenance inspection of a 400 ATIV air handler panel? A. Continue working since discoloration is cosmetic. B. Report it as a sign of potential arc flash risk and schedule immediate maintenance. C. Retorque the busbar to ensure tightness and move on. D. Clean the busbar to restore original appearance. Answer. Correct answer. B. Reported as a sign of potential arc flash risk and schedule immediate maintenance. Explanation: discoloration signals overheating, likely from loose connections or arcing, which increases arc flash risk. NFPA 7-TIB condition-based maintenance and OSHA 1910.303(b)(1) require identification and correction of deteriorated electrical components. Option A is negligent. Option C is incomplete unless energized. D is cosmetic and ignores root cause. Question 8. By comparing HVACR panel configurations, how does fault current availability influence arc flash energy calculations? A. Higher available fault current shortens arc duration, reducing energy. B. More fault current increases incident energy at a given working distance. C. Fault current is irrelevant in arc flash calculations. D. Low fault current creates more dangerous arcs due to instability. Answer. Correct answer. B. More fault current increases incident energy at a given working distance. Explanation: arc flash energy is proportional to fault current and arc duration. E1584 formula shows that increased fault current raises incident energy. It is incorrect. While breakers may trip faster, energy can still be high. C contradicts calculation principles. D misstates effect of low current. Question 9. In the context of arc flash response, what is the immediate action technician Franco should take after witnessing a coworker suffer an arc flash injury in a chiller room? A. Attempt to extinguish any visible flame on the coworker. B. Remove the victim's melted PPE to prevent burns. C. Call for help and initiate emergency shutdown if safe. D. Pull the victim away from the panel. Answer. Correct answer. C. Call for help and initiate emergency shutdown if safe. Explanation. NFPA 7 Ocean 1910.335 stressed that untrained personnel should not intervene directly if energized equipment is involved. The first response must be to stop the hazard if safe and call for help. Pulling the victim, D, risks further injury, is valid only if the rescuer is safe. B is incorrect. EPE should not be removed without medical professionals. Question 10. The primary reason for clearly understanding arc flash labels is to ensure what aspect of technician behavior around electrical HVACR gear A. That all systems are properly labeled per ANSI. B. That PPE selection, boundaries, and energy levels are known before interaction. C. That labels help avoid OSHA citations. D. That systems are easily traceable during audits. Answer. Correct answer. That PPE selection, boundaries, and energy levels are known before interaction. Explanation. Arc flash labels per NFPA 7 Section 130.5H must display incident energy, voltage, arc flash boundary, and PPE category. The goal is risk mitigation. Options and D refer to administrative benefits, not safety behavior. C is true but not the primary purpose. Question 11. Technician is asked to perform service on a motor control center MCC supplying several HVAC units. The facility has no available arc flash study or labeling in place. The incident energy levels and arc boundaries are unknown. What is the technician's most appropriate action before starting work? A. Proceed using PPE rated at the highest arc level, category 4. B. Refuse to proceed until an arc flash analysis is completed. C. Assume the panel is under 200 fortive and requires minimal protection. D. Wear rubber gloves and insulated tools to minimize risk. Answer. Correct answer. B. Refuse to proceed until an arc flash analysis is completed. Explanation. NFPA 7 requires that arc flash risk assessments be completed before energized work. Technicians must not proceed without knowing incident energy levels. PPE must be selected based on this data, not assumptions or worst case PPE alone. Option D reduces shock risk but not arc flash exposure. Question 12. Technician Sierra is tasked with testing voltage on live terminals inside a panel. The calculated incident energy at the normal working distance, 18 inches, is 9.4 calcum. What is her minimum required arc-rated clothing category? A. Category 1B, Category 3C, Category 2D, Category 4. Answer. Correct answer. B. Category 3. Explanation. According to NFPA 7 Table 130.7C 16, Category 3 covers incident energies from 8.1 to 25 calcum. Category 1 and 2 are insufficient. Category 4 would protect her but is not the minimum required level for this energy value. Question 13. A technician servicing a 277 lighting panel wears rubber insulating gloves and sleeves but no arc-rated outerwear. The panel has an incident energy rating of 4.7 calcum. Why is this PPE configuration inadequate? A. The gloves provide arc protection but not shock resistance. B. Shock protection is not required for voltages under 600. C. Arc-rated PPE is required separately from shock PPE. D. Only voltage-rated gloves are required below 5 calcum. Answer. Correct answer. C. Arc-rated EPE is required separately from shock EPE. Explanation. NFPA 7i clearly separates arc flash and shock hazards. Rubber gloves protect against electric shock while arc-rated clothing protects from thermal energy. Both are required when both hazards exist. Many injuries occur from mistaking shock EPE for arc flash PPE. Question 14. 2 identical 480 HVACR panels are tested for incident energy, but panel is in a large open area while panel B is in a small NEMA enclosure. Why does panel B show significantly higher incident energy levels? A. Larger enclosures reduce voltage levels. B. Smaller enclosures confine arc blast and intensify pressure. C. Panels in large rooms are grounded differently. D. NFPA 7 doesn't account for enclosure size. Answer. Correct answer. B. Smaller enclosures confine arc blast and intensify pressure. Explanation. E1584 shows that smaller enclosures trap energy and concentrate arc pressure, increasing incident energy. Arc blasts in tight spaces can reflect energy back onto the technician. Enclosure dimensions are critical in arc flash calculations. Question 15. An HVACR technician must troubleshoot a live 200 ATV disconnect feeding a rooftop unit due to a critical failure during peak hours. What must the employer ensure is in place before the technician can legally perform this energized work? A supervisor must be present on site. B. A written energized work permit must be completed. C. Two-person rule must be enforced at all times. D. Arc grade EPE above category 3 must be used. Answer. Correct answer. B. A written energized work permit must be completed. Explanation. Per NFPA 7th Article 130.2b, energized work requires a written permit unless it's for diagnostics or testing where de-energizing is infeasible. This includes justification, shock arc risk PPE, and approval. Option D depends on energy level. Not all work requires Category 3 PP. Question 16. A 400 ATIV motor control panel has an arc flash boundary of 36 inches. The calculated incident energy at 18 inches is 6.3 calcum. What does the 36-inch arc flash boundary signify? A. The point beyond which arc raid PPE is not required. B. The limited approach boundary for unqualified personnel. C. The restricted approach boundary for high voltage panels. D. The shock hazard clearance distance. Answer. Correct answer A. The point beyond which arc raid PPE is not required. Explanation. The arc flash boundary is defined as the distance at which the incident energy equals 1.2 calcum onset of second-degree burn. Outside this distance, arc raid PPE is not required. The limited and restricted boundaries refer to shock protection, not thermal energy. Question 17. What must be included on the arc flash label of HVACR electrical equipment according to NFPA 7th IA? Manufacturer of EPE for last maintenance. B. Maximum available fault current and transformer impedance. C. Date of the last OSHA inspection. D. Arc flash boundary and calculated incident energy. Answer. Correct answer. D. Arc flash boundary and calculated incident energy. Explanation. NFPA 7th Article 130.5 H requires arc flash labels to display arc flash boundary, incident energy or PPE category, voltage, and date of assessment. Fault current data is optional unless used to calculate the label. PPE manufacturer and OSHA inspection date are not required. Question 18. A service technician reviews an arc flash label showing an incident energy value of 3.5 calcum. The label is 9 years old and the building has undergone significant electrical upgrades. What should the technician do before relying on this label for PPE selection? A. Proceed with Category 2 PPE as the energy is below 4 calcum. B. Trust the label. Incident energy doesn't change with upgrades. C. Verify whether new arc flash risk assessment is required. D. Wear the highest category PPE just in case. Answer. Correct answer. C. Verify whether a new arc flash risk assessment is required. Explanation. NFPA 7th requires arc flash risk assessments to be reviewed at least every 5 years or when major changes occur. System upgrades can significantly alter incident energy. Labels must reflect current risk. Blind trust in outdated data is a major safety violation. Question 19. Technician Helena is conducting energized testing inside a panel using a multimeter. Her leads are Roman turreted, but the panel is a 400 ATIV system. What is the safety concern in this case? The Roman turrets are not insulated for voltages above 120 B. Roman turrets may not withstand transients in industrial systems. C. 400 ATIV panels require clamp meters, not multimeters. D. Roman turrets can only be used with Agioni circuits. Answer. Correct answer. B. Roman turrets may not withstand transients in industrial systems. Explanation. Per OSHA standards, category ratings relate to transient withstand capacity, not just voltage. Roman turrets are for receptacle level circuits, not three-phase panels. For 480 HVAC systems, aromatides are required to survive transient surges. A, C, and D misrepresent tool categories. Question 20. Why are arc flash burns often more severe than electrical shock burns, even at relatively low system voltages like 280 A? They always involve higher amperage than shock burns. B. Arc flash burns occur externally while shock burns are internal. C. Arc flash energy involves explosive pressure and radiant heat. D. Arc flash burns are caused by incorrect grounding. Answer. Correct answer. C. Arc flash energy involves explosive pressure and radiant heat. Explanation. Arc flash injuries are caused by intense heat up to 35,000 UV radiation and blast pressure, all in milliseconds. This makes them more dangerous than typical shock burns, especially since they affect large skin areas externally. Grounding errors may contribute but aren't the cause of burns. Question 21. During an inspection, a technician notices that his arc-rated face shield is scratched and the arc-rated hood has minor rips. What is the most appropriate course of action before using this EPE? A. Proceed with work if small scratches and rips don't affect protection. B. Replace the face shield but continue using the hood. C. Conduct detailed visual inspection and report defects for replacement. D. Use it only on systems with lower than 200 voltage. Answer. Correct answer. C. Conduct a detailed visual inspection and report defects for replacement. Explanation. Per NFPA 7I 130.7 C13 or AFST PPE must be maintained in a serviceable condition. Damage such as rips or compromised visibility reduces protection. Defective PPE must be removed from service and reported. The voltage of the system does not justify damaged PPE. Question 22. Technician Marco is conducting energized work on a 480 HVAC disconnect. His supervisor is standing 20 inches away inside the arc flash boundary, but is not wearing PPE. What action must be taken immediately? A. Continue work since the supervisor is not touching anything live. B. Ask the supervisor to move beyond the arc flash boundary or wear proper PPE. C. Stop work until another qualified person can assist. D. Report the supervisor to OSHA immediately. Answer. Correct answer. B. Ask the supervisor to move beyond the arc flash boundary or wear proper PPE. Explanation. NFPA 7 requires that any person inside the arc flash boundary wear appropriate arc-rated PPE. Non-qualified individuals must remain outside unless properly protected. It's the responsibility of the qualified worker to enforce safe boundaries. Question 23. An HVAC panel label shows 2.8 calcum incident energy, dated 6 years ago. Since then, the panel's feeder breaker was upsized from 60 to 100. What is the best course of action before proceeding? A. Use Category 2 PPE and begin work. B. Assume lower value since breakers now trip faster. C. Request review of the arc flash assessment. D. Use face shield and gloves only. Answer. Correct answer. C. Request a review of the arc flash assessment. Explanation. Changes in overcurrent protection devices or system configurations can drastically impact arc flash energy. NFPA 7 requires reassessment every 5 years or after system modifications. Working on outdated or inaccurate data puts the technician at severe risk. Question 24. Which of the following factors would not typically affect the calculated arc flash incident energy in an HVAC distribution panel? A. Working distance. B. Fault current available. C. Insulation type of conductor. D. Clearing time of protective device. Answer. Correct answer. C. Insulation type of conductor. Explanation. Incident energy depends on arc duration, clearing time, fault current, and working distance. The insulation of conductors is not used in arc energy calculations. Insulation affects dielectric performance but not thermal energy from an arc. Question 25. A technician is performing live diagnostics on a 277 lighting panel in a crowded hallway. What must be done to protect bystanders? A. Use electrical tape to warn people. B. Install arc-rated flash blankets over the panel. C. Erect barriers or shields and post warning signs. D. Assign a second technician to block the area physically. Answer. Correct answer. C. Erect barriers or shields and post warning signs. Explanation. NFPA 7I 130.70 requires that when energized work is performed in public or high traffic areas, barriers and warning signs must be used to prevent unprotected persons from entering the arc flash boundary. Visual warnings alone or physical presence of others are not sufficient. Question 26. A roof-up HVAC unit has a local disconnect switch. The incident energy is listed as 1.9 calcum. The technician needs to tighten terminal lug inside the energized disconnect. What PPE is required for this task? A. Voltage-rated gloves only. B. Category 1R rated clothing and face protection. C. Only safety glasses and hand tools. D. Category 3 full body arc suit. Answer. Correct answer. B. Category 1R rated clothing and face protection. Explanation. Incident energy of 1.9 calcum falls within Category 1, 1.2, 4.0 calcum, requiring arc-rated sherpins or coverall, face shield, and gloves. Shock protection is also required if working near exposed conductors. Category 3 PPE would be excessive for this task. Question 27. A technician is testing a 200 ATV panel while energized using a digital multimeter. The meter and leads are rated Care Roman. He is wearing safety glasses, but no arc-rated EP, which regulation is being violated. A. He is not wearing insulated gloves. B. Corona incorrect for 200 AT. PPE must match the arc energy, not just the voltage. D. Safety glasses are sufficient for low voltage. Answer. Correct answer. P. PPE must match the arc energy, not just the voltage. Explanation. NFPA 7I requires arc-rated PPE based on incident energy levels or PPE categories, not merely the system voltage. Even at 200 ATV, the arc flashes can occur. Safety glasses alone are insufficient protection against thermal energy exposure. Question 20. An apprentice technician is assisting during live diagnostics of a 400 AFST panel. He has not completed arc flash training or demonstrated competency. According to NFPA 7I, how should he be classified? A. Qualified because he is under supervision. B. Unqualified since he lacks arc flash training. C. Qualified for low voltage work only. D. Qualified if the task is below 600. Answer. Correct answer. B. Unqualified since he lacks arc flash training. Explanation. Per NFPA 7I Article 110.6, a qualified person must be trained to recognize and avoid arc flash hazards and be able to demonstrate skills and knowledge. Supervision alone doesn't make someone qualified. Voltage level doesn't change qualification status. Question 29. The technician wears a 12 calcum arc-rated shirt, but no face shield while opening an energized panel with 7 calcum rating. What hazard remains unprotected? A. Shock to the hands. B. Arc blast to the torso. C. Facial injury from radiant heat and flying debris. D. Overexposure to electromagnetic fields. Answer. Correct answer. C. Facial injury from radiant heat and flying debris. Explanation. Even with appropriate clothing, NFPA 7I requires arc-rated face protection when incident energy exceeds 1.2 calcum. The face and neck are particularly vulnerable to burns and blast-related injuries. Face shields or arc flash hoods are critical. Question 30. While preparing for arc flash diagnostics, the HVACR technician is told the main breaker can't be locked out due to production needs. How should the technician respond? A. Proceed with caution using extra PPE. B. Follow the energized work permit process. C. Use an assistant to monitor the panel. D. Wait until the end of the shift to proceed. Answer. Correct answer. B. Follow the energized work permit process. Explanation. If denergizing is infeasible, NFPA 7I mandates use of the energized work permit process, including justification, hazard analysis, PPE requirements, and approval. The permit ensures legal and procedural compliance when lockout is not possible.